What is going on, YouTube? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for some Marvel Mondays. That's right. It is the comic book slash trading card day of the week here at the channel. So we are going to dive into some comic book discussion today. I was going to talk about some Marvel cards, but I'm going to hold off. I have a PSA submission coming back any day. So I'll hold that for the reveal video on that and throw in some chatter while I'm showing those off to cover some 90 MU cards and whatnot. So with all that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are looking to make any eBay purchases, please check out the affiliate link down below. And if you want to check out Market Movers, we're actually going to use Market Movers today to look at some comic book trends. So with all that being said, let's rock and roll. I mentioned this in yesterday's weekly sports card recap video for the week. The sports card market continues to soften slash just kind of lay around. The flip side of that is the comic book market remains hot as hell. Comic book prices on many key issues continue to skyrocket week after week, day after day. So the interest and money in the collectibles market is 100% still there. And I'm not saying the money has shifted from sports cards to comic books. There are plenty of people that do not collect or that collect sports cards that do not touch the comic book market. But there is at least a small portion of overlap. And as I've talked about on the channel a lot, I believe that until recently, most of the comic book market was extremely undervalued and in some cases still is. So I just kind of wanted to show some trend lines and also talking about selling comic books in this market. I think, and this is going to be to my detriment, I think some sellers are making mistakes on how they're selling right now on specifically some of this low population stuff that does not come up very often. So those are the things we're going to look at today. In addition to that, I believe, don't put it in stone, don't put it in pen, but maybe put it in pencil. I will be joining Flipping Steve this evening on his live stream to probably talk comic books. We're both sports card guys that have dove into comic books, but also, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about sports cards, comics, whatever. It's his show. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I semi-invited myself on because I just wanted to talk about the comic book market with people. So that should be on later tonight. I will link to it if he sends me a link ahead of time, but he usually goes live around 9:30 Eastern time tonight. So we will be continuing Marvel Mondays later this evening. So let's kick things off with ASM 300. I've made a couple. My new thing lately has been posting these little polls on the YouTube community page where I link to an eBay listing of a hot book that's running at auction, and we take guesses on how high it'll close. This is probably the king of the, I don't want to call it modern, but I guess Copper Age is where this would classify books that's really been driving most of the market. Prices on this have been insane lately. There was a buy it now that sold outright for $8K over the weekend. That just sold late last night. There was an auction that went for about $7,600. I think it closed that on Saturday night. That one was shipping from Canada and had a very poor ending time. We'll see where there's another one that ends. I'm recording this Sunday night. There's one that ends tonight. I think is going to get close to, if not over 8K. It's well timed in its ending time. It's US shipping. So we'll see where that auction ends up. So that data won't be in here. And that 8K buy it now sale, I don't believe is in here yet either. It could be because Market Movers averages. But I didn't see it on the list. So this book continues to escalate with each new one moving up and up. And the thing that I was curious about too was, does the 9, like, you know, in the sports card world, PSA 9s kind of follow along with PSA 10s? As the PSA 10 goes up, the PSA 9 goes up. So I was curious percentage wise how the CGC 9.6 compares to a 9.8 in regards to price movements. So I used a little Market Movers hack. You obviously cannot straight run comic book charts in and out of Market Movers, but there is a way that you could chart literally just about anything, including comic books, but it's not perfect, but you can make it work. It does take it's not as fast as running like a sports card on Market Movers where it's literally a couple clicks and you're done. You have to do a little bit of data cleanup, especially on the comic book side, for as confusing as some of the listings can be, and a lot of, variants and homages. And, you put in ASM 300 and you get a million Spawn books that pop up because of all the homage covers. So essentially, just for those that I've done this before on the channel, I don't do it often, but if you are market movers and you want to chart comics, off to the side here where your chart options are, there is a chart other cards option. Click that. And then for the player name, I put in the name of the book. For the set and year, I put in the grade. And then over here, terms to exclude, I'll throw some things in there. Like I wanted to exclude newsstand copies. I wanted to exclude facsimiles, reprints, homages, variants, etc. And then run the charts. Now, you don't get to choose your date range when you do it this way, but that's fine. So if we scroll down here, this goes back to the beginning of February and runs through yesterday, May 8th. And as we could see back in February, this book was a 5K book. As of right now, it is sitting, like we talked about earlier, anywhere between $7,500 and $8,000 for a 53% increase in just 3 months' time. This is, in my opinion, I don't know, the old comic book guard might think this is not a low census book, but it's a little over 1,000, I believe, in a 9.8, with a 9.6 also being fairly low-ish. But I believe between the two grades, there's like 4,000-ish total, maybe 4,300. I think there's a little over 1,000 9.8s and a little over 3,000 9.6s, rough numbers. So like I said, what I was curious about is this has gone up 53%. Has the 9.6 followed? And the short answer is yes. So once again, I did the exact same thing, except we fired in a 9.6 for the grade. It has also gone up 53% since early February. Started off at around 1,600, currently going for between, I've seen them go anywhere between $2,000 and $2,500 for a 9.6. Also up 53%, like we mentioned. So this book continues to climb. The real question is do we think this hits 10K anytime soon? We have not gotten a trailer yet for the new Venom movie. I think that could push it up and over. Now, long term, will this price hold? Nobody knows. There's so much speculation on the comic book market, good, bad, or indifferent. Can this trend line continue going up? In my opinion, I think it can. It might slow down a little bit, but like I said, we haven't even gotten a trailer yet for the second Venom movie. Once that passes us, I think that could spike it. And then if we get a tease that Venom is going to cross over with Tom Holland at some point in time, and whether it be entering the MCU or a standalone movie on the Sony side of things, who knows? To me, that would take this to that next level and easily blow through 10K, assuming the market holds. I personally think that it will. A lot of people think that it won't. Worst case scenario, this is one of those books that is not going to just crash back down to nothingness. Could it pull back? Sure. But I don't think you're going to lose your butts on this one. Like we've seen in some of the sports card market stuff. Just the nature of this market is it just doesn't, I just don't think it has the low of floors that sports cards do, which is the whole reason why I have ventured down this path, along with the fact that I really like comic books. This leads me into my next point. I think people are selling a lot of this lower pop count stuff incorrectly. For example, I believe in a book like this, where a 9.8 does not come up a ton. There's a couple that hit eBay, maybe 2 a week hit eBay, maybe a little less. I don't remember. I haven't been tracking it that closely in regards to how many have been posted, but a lot of people put it up at fixed price, buy it now. I think a hot book like this is one of the rare times I would prefer to sell something at auction. I'm going to use another case, and I think when you get in the even lower census counts, that matters even more. So let's pop over and talk about XMen 133. We're going to use this as our example. Now, this is not a super air quotes key book. There's no first appearance here, though it is the first Wolverine solo story. It is part of a classic X-Men run. It is part of Dark Phoenix. It does, in my opinion, have a classic cover. So though it doesn't have a key first appearance or anything like that, it check marks a lot of boxes. This is one that I was looking for a very long time. It took me over a month to find this book in this grade because there is only 244 of them on the CGC census. So if we go over, once again, I market movered this one, we're not going to see anywhere near as much data. So come down here, and this is what the detailed results look like. When you do this at market movers, this is where you have to clean up because I didn't want this, like it pulled this new X-Men 133, and it also pulled a signature series and a couple other listings. So really, since I bought mine, only 3 have sold. Mine right here, this is the one that I purchased back in March for $7.75. And like I said, it took me over a month to find this book. I had an eBay save search for it. It popped up. I immediately bought it. And I think that was priced too low. The last current comp on that book prior to this was back in December and January, I believe, for around $700. Whoever listed it was just going off of the last sale price. They were not factoring in what had happened in the current comic book market over the last couple months. So they posted that for $7.75. It was literally up for about 5 minutes before I grabbed it. A couple weeks later, someone posted one. Now, this was a newsstand. At auction, went for $12.46. So newsstands do tend to be a little bit more rare. But when you get back this far, that kind of balances out a little bit more. I think when this book came out, this was 1980. This is at the point where, at least according to the experts, the scale actually kind of tips the other way, and directs are actually fewer and far between than the newsstands are. We're kind of in that range. So I don't weight the newsstand as much when you're looking at this older stuff. And then you see here, just about a week ago, 10 days ago, someone posted another one at Buy It Now at $12.50. And this was a direct edition. This got bought up immediately. This was up for not even a day. I think it was up for just a couple hours because I followed it just to kind of keep an eye on it. And it immediately got snatched. These super low census count books like this in this market, if it's a hot title like an X-Men, a Wolverine, SpiderMan, whatever, should be ran at auction, not at Buy It Now best offer, in my opinion. Even if you're overpricing what you think the market is. Like this, you know, ASM 300 is a little different because there are a lot of current comps. Something like this, where you're going a week to weeks in between a sale, I would run that thing at auction. Let's talk about the next one. And this also leads me into another talking point. What I'm starting to see are classic covers getting a lot of love and are really going up in price. One of the main ones is ASM 316. We're not going to talk about that today, but we're going to talk about basically a different version of the same type of cover. And that's Incredible Hulk 340. A classic McFarlane cover, like 316. Difference there is that's first Venom, like Venom's first cover. So it has that going for it. But this is also regarded as one of the most classic Hulk / Wolverine covers, other than, you know, obviously Wolverine's first appearance. But any Wolverine collector, this is one that they want. Now, in a 9.8, there are only 718 of these on the CGC census. In my opinion, that's extremely low. In a 9.6, there's only 1,600 of them. Also, once again, that seems pretty low. Combined together, that's only about 2,400 in the top 2 grades. Absolutely gorgeous cover. Would be a showpiece in any collection for an investment or just a collector's purposes. Let's track prices on this one. Same thing. We go back to the beginning of February. It was just over $1,000. It currently sits at $2,400. So that's 118% increase. When we come down here, the first thing that you notice, fixed price, fixed price, fixed price, fixed price, auction, fixed price. If I had one of these right now, I would be running this at auction for the same reasons we just talked about. And also, like I said, we are seeing this trend in these ultra classic covers beginning. I mean, we've seen it for a while now with ASM 316, this going up. A lot of classic Batman covers have been going up. Classic X-Men covers have been going up. And now we're starting to see it bleed into the more modern stuff. And I've talked about this book on the channel a couple different times. It is one of my favorite X-Men covers, full stop. And it is not super rare. Now, there's not a ton of them on the CGC census. And that's this guy. X-Men number 11 from the 90s Jim Lee run. In my opinion, this is one of the best X-Men covers out there. The reason why is this particular cover is a lot of people's X-Men. This is the X-Men most people in the 35 to 45 age grew up on. It's also absolutely stunning and gorgeous. But that particular team right there, one, it's the iconic Jim Lee run. Two, it's a lot of overlap with the Fox Sunday morning show, which a ton of people watched. A ton of kids watched. This book has really gone up a lot, and there are only, now, I'm going to get a ton of flack on this from the old guard. There's only 174 of these on the CGC census in a 9.8. I am sure there are a lot of these laying around in bins. However, how many of those are in a 9.8? I don't know. How many of those will be sent in for grading? I don't know. Where does the pop report go on this? I don't know. I can already hear the comments down below now. I get it. But as of right now, there are only 174 of these. Now, is this an investment grade book? No, I don't think so per se. It's not like there's no classic first appearance here, nothing. It is just an absolutely amazing piece of artwork in a classic run in a classic cover. These are the sorts of things that are starting to go up now. And I think what's causing it is because people are getting priced out of the main stuff. You know, I don't have, let's say, you know, just hypothetically, I don't have $2,000 to go spend on a Hulk 340 or 2,500, whatever it is. Let me go check out this cool Wolverine cover. Or I can't afford a giant size X-Men number 1, but I want a nice X-Men display piece. Let me go look at X-Men number 11. Jim Lee's probably the most popular X-Men artist by far. I shouldn't say by far, but he's up there. And once again, this was one of the most popular runs, period, full stop. As of right now, there is limited supply of this book in a 9.8. Will that last? I don't know. No, I mean, I'm sure people will speculate down below, but you know, this is one that there could be a lot out there of, and more will get graded. But does that outpace the demand for the cover? You know, one just sold today. I was keeping an eye on this. In fact, this is the picture of the one that sold today. $400 at auction. I believe a new high for a direct edition, but I don't know for sure. I know some newsstands have gone for over 500. And for those that ask me all the time, I am not big on the whole newsstand thing. I get it. I understand why a lot of people are. It's just not for me. I wish if CGC tracked it, I might feel better about that, but I just don't like the nebulous nature of how many are actually out there. And frankly, I just don't think the book presents as well with the barcode on the front versus, you know, a SpiderMan logo or head or whatever they throw on there in that box instead of the barcode. But I think as people begin to get priced out of the higher end stuff, they're going to look to chase this sort of stuff. Whether it's a good investment or not, I don't know. But I could see this book continuing to go up because there just aren't that many of them currently on the CGC census. So That's all I got for you guys and girls today. Like I said, I should be making an appearance on Flipping Steve's channel later tonight, so feel free to check that out. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. We'll be back tomorrow talking about 2020 select football. I have some interesting data to dig into on that. That'll be up Tuesday morning. Don't forget to use the eBay affiliate link. And if you want to check out Market Movers, the link to that is down below as well. We'll catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.